and in this video we're going to be looking at how you can win the LS Car Meet Prize Ride Challenge every single week without fail, hopefully. Now, I will be honest, this is not a glitch, this is not a cheat, this is not a hack, this is just a technique that you can use in a certain type of race that you can use to win some really cool cars. So for example, the week I did this video, the prize ride was the VSTR, which is a really fabulous car, makes an amazing noise. But if you look back through the history of the prize rides, there's some good stuff on there, some expensive cars. The Comet S2 Cabrio was on there, the Gauntlet Hellfire, the Casco if you like the older stuff. And what you will generally find is the more valuable the car, the more difficult the challenge will be. It's not always that way, but it's usually there or thereabouts. And just to underline the point, if you look back through the history of the cars for this year, you can see they have given away almost $30 million worth of cars. $30 million worth of stuff that you can get for free just for doing a really simple mission. So, how are we going to do this without cheating or glitching? Well, the answer's simple, and it's drag races. Now, you may have done these before, you may never have done one before. These were added quite recently. They're a really good, really fun way of racing in GTA. So why am I recommending drag races? Well, let's have a look at the different challenge types and see how that would work with drag races. So the types of challenge will range. Usually you'll have to finish between 1st and 5th for between 1 and 4 days, or sometimes just achieve a certain placing a certain number of times. So the easiest challenges are ones like these. Place top 5 for 4 days in a row. Now this challenge would have got you the S2 Cabrio, and I've never been in a drag race with more than 5 people, so for this one, just turning up and finishing the race will be enough to get you this car. See, I told you it was easy. The next type of challenge, which is also easy with drag races, is where you need to finish first 5 times. But that doesn't have to be on consecutive days, so what you can do here is if you send a message to the other player, there's a good chance they're going to be up for doing what's called win trading, where you win a race, they win a race, you win a race, they win a race, and then after 10 minutes you've both won 5 times and you both get the car. But the ones that might worry you are ones like this. So for the Calico, you had to win a race every day for 3 days in a row, and if you're not very good at racing, I can see why that might put you off, and that is where drag races come in. So let's have a look at how you're going to make that work. So the drag races can be done once a day. The timer resets at midnight UTC, so that's midnight GMT, which I believe is 8 PM Eastern Standard Time, or about 10 AM in Australia. And what I would do, I would head down to the spawn point, which is just near the LS Car Meet, drive into the little Corona and go on call. I very rarely choose to host them, I just go on call. In almost every case, I will find myself in a race within a minute or two. So why are they so easy to win, even if you're not brilliant at racing? Well, that's because a lot of people don't do them that often, and people forget how they work. So if you join the drag races in this way by going on call, there's a good chance you'll be in there with someone who might have forgotten how drag races actually work. And there are 2 specific parts that people forget. So let's go through how to do a drag race. And this starts with the burnout. So as soon as you see your car pull in like this, you need to hammer that trigger and get the revs right round to the end. Then you've got a little bit of time to just adjust how much pressure you put in on the trigger, because what you want to do is you want to keep the revs right towards the end. If you do that, that will give you a perfect burnout, and that will give you a little bit of extra grip off the line. That's the first thing that a lot of people forget if they haven't done a drag race before, or if they haven't done one for a while. And the second thing is that the gear shift in drag races is manual, and this is what's going to be the key to winning. If you end up in a lobby with people that haven't done a drag race for a while, chances are at least one of them's going to forget that you have to shift your gears manually in drag races, and that's going to give you an advantage off the line. So the controls on PlayStation is circle to shift up and X to shift down, but hopefully you won't be doing that. Now you do need to be careful with alternate layouts, so if you have any of the alternate layouts set, You may need to hunt around in your settings and find out which button you're going to have to use for shifting, but that aside, all you need to do, press the circle to shift up, and that's what leads us on to the next important part, and that's the timing of your gear shifts. Now, if you get a perfect shift, you can see you get a little boost. So if you've got a car like the Jester with 9 gears, that's 8 little boosts that you're going to get, and it does make a difference. So timing your gear shifts is important. What you want to aim to do is to hit the button just as the revs are hitting the top end of the blue line. You will hear a tiny little beep to tell you it's time, but realistically, if you wait until you hear the beep, you're going to end up shifting too late. So with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to time it so you're hitting the button just as you hear the beep. That's going to give you a perfect shift each time. One tip I can give you here is, while you're getting used to this, why not choose a car with fewer gears? Something like the Dominator ASP or the Calico that just has 6 gears. That means you'll have a little bit more time between each gear shift, so it'll just help you get the practice in. Then when you get really good, you can go up to things like the Jester, which have 9 gears. And the last tip is around the timing of your nitrous. So after around the first 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds or so of the race, nitrous becomes available. Now, it's really tempting to use it how you would in real life. So usually things like nitrous or things like energy recovery systems in F1, you use them after slow corners or at the beginning of long straights to get yourself up to speed faster. So it's tempting to use it that way in the GTA drag races, but that's not actually the fastest way of deploying your nitrous. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can disable the nitrous, and what that allows you to do is effectively feather it by turning it on and off. So I would always recommend, don't use your nitrous as soon as it's available, because quite often if there are some curves in the track, this is going to happen. And also, if you leave it till the end, you won't get the full benefit of it. What you want to do, if you can get used to it, is to feather it on and off. What that does, because if you look at what the nitrous does, it gives you a huge boost in top speed, but then it quite quickly drops back down to its normal top speed. By feathering the nitrous on and off, so by giving it a boost and turning it off, then watching your speedo, and as soon as the speed starts to dip again, feather it back on again, you can actually keep a higher average speed over the whole track. So you can easily save a second over the course of a drag race by doing this. Now, a second doesn't sound a lot, but when it comes to races,
it don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
So if you follow those tips, you should be able to easily win every single prize ride challenge and stock up your garages with no expense and very little work. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you in the next one.